On the doorsteps of the Holy of the Holy, the innermost part of the temple and the most important part, the divine part. So it's hardly, as an ancient Egyptian, it's harder to come that far. There was a kind of filtration system and a class system in the Egyptian society back in that time. So the commoners, they will worship the gods from the open court out there. And the more important you are, or the more rich you are, or the more royal you are, the inner you go. So until you came to this point, it's only the king or the high priest, which is have the authority to come that far and serve the god face to face. So back in the old days, they used to keep solid gold statues for their gods. And in our situation here, in this temple, it was Horus. And of course, you will wonder, what happened to this solid gold, these beautiful pieces of art. Egypt has been invaded a lot, not only in our modern time by British and French and Ottomans, but also in historical period. There was Persians, Greeks, Romans, especially the Persians attacking Egypt, which is the first time in 6th century BC and the second time in the 4th century. They show no respect to the ancient Egyptian culture, and many of the treasures of the temples has been taken out or has been stolen, to be more specific. And because of that, the ancient Egyptians, after that, the priests developed a technique to preserve and protect their valuable objects and their treasures in the temples. They start digging crypts underground, a maze of corridors, and reached by a manhole on the ground and hidden like in the rooms around the Holy of the Holies. So, and these crypts mainly not for the priests to hide, but mainly to keep and store or hide their valuable objects and their documents as well. It is not only about gold, but also about the knowledge of the ancient Egyptian that was hidden in these crypts. So the good news is actually we found some of these crypts, but unfortunately the bad news that we haven't found, hardly anything has been found there. Maybe there is a grave robbers back in the old days, they found it before us, but possibly there is some other crypts which is not being discovered yet and yet to be discovered under this temple, which hide some of the secrets or unrevealed secrets of the ancient Egyptian civilizations not being discovered before. We are in one of the very beautiful chapels in the temple, and this chapel is called the Chapels of the Sky, or the Chapels of the Egyptian, the ancient, or the Chapels of the ancient Egyptian zodiac. So apart from the reliefs and the art everywhere here, which is showing the kings of Egypt giving offerings to the different gods in ancient Egypt, is mainly Horus and Isis and Osiris, but the ceiling decoration is the most unique because the ceiling decoration showing the goddess Nut of the sky crawling over the earth, and with different lines showing the 12 boats of the heaven, with the sun in each boat reflects the 12 hours of the day, with the sun presented for each hour of the day. That is one of the simplest examples of the ancient Egyptian zodiac, which there is in other temples. There is much complicated examples like in Isna temple and Dendera temple, but here it exists in its simple form, and the good thing that is still the decoration and the good thing that still the colors is very well preserved. You can see the beautiful body of the lady, the beautiful body of the goddess Nut of the sky, where her body, half of her body dressed in a dark blue with the stars for imitation of night, and the top part in light blue in reflecting the daylight.